Welcome to the Localpreneur Show, a podcast dedicated to featuring community-based entrepreneurs, the principles they live by, and the success they're having making a difference in the world. Here's your host, Austin Kane.
Welcome everybody to another episode of the Localpreneur Show. It's a great Friday morning here and happy to have Bart Fisher with Michaelis out of Indianapolis, Indiana here with us this morning to really share his story about how they're impacting their local community and changing the lives of the people around them. Bart, thanks for being with us here this morning. Let me turn things over to you here for a minute to introduce yourself and your company and a little bit of your background.
Yeah, thanks, Austin. We are local emergency services general contractor. So water, storms, fire, and foundations. We pretty much handle everything biological. So figure anything related to water. We do trauma cleanup. We're usually what we call the second responder on scene for a disaster in someone's home or business. So with that, we're pretty attuned from top to bottom about the situations we're in on a daily basis. We service pretty much central Indiana and about 60 miles out. We like to have a 2-hour response time for an emergency. We obviously have, not obviously, but we have relationships throughout the state with adjusters and agents and things like that. So if we get called to Terre Haute, by a relationship we have, we'll go an hour and a half, 2 hours away, just to do a job. But so that's pretty much we've been around. We've been around since 1984. I've been with the company. I'm in my 7th year, and it's a great place to be. We've been growing double digits for about 10 years now, so it's good.
Very cool. And you guys are kind of in that industry where you're impacting the community, whether you're doing a project or you're just doing the work you guys do, because you're coming to people that are at a loss and maybe at a low time in their life, and you're able to kind of pick up those pieces and put them back together for them. So and that's why we're here today. We're here to talk a little bit about both of those things. For somebody maybe listening for the first time, the Localpreneur Show is really a podcast about highlighting how home and local service companies are making a difference in their communities. They're giving back, they're engaging, they're changing the lives of the people around them. And so we're here to share the story that Bart has to share today. So Bart, let's talk a little bit about your organization and the impact that you guys are making in the local community. What are some of the special projects or any special charities or organizations that you guys partner with and give back to on a regular basis?
So as a corporation, we basically support 3 charities in central Indiana. We support the Salvation Army of Central Indiana. We support the Indianapolis, I always get this wrong, the Indianapolis Neighborhood Housing Partnership. We just call it INHP. And then we support Hoosier Burn Camp. So INHP and Hoosier Burn Camp are pretty much local to Indiana. And then obviously the Salvation Army is nationwide. So the Salvation Army is big for us. They have multiple projects, multiple places. They're all over central Indiana. They do great work here as far as supporting the community themselves. We've gotten tied in with them over the past 3 to 4 years. It's been a great partnership for them as well for us. And INHP, they manage properties themselves. We do a lot of, in-kind cleanup and security for those properties that they manage. And then Hoosier Burn Camp is just special. It's if anyone's listening and you type in Hoosier Burn Camp, Mark Koopman started that charity 20 something years ago. And he basically takes burn survivors from the age of 8 to 18 out to a camp, all as just a group of burn survivors where they can just be kids for a week in the summertime up in north central Indiana. And it's just a special place. So those are big what we do.
Yeah, no, that's very cool. And I can tell the impact it probably makes on those kids, just being able to just have a week to do whatever they want and have a great time.
Oh yeah. You go to their annual, we just had their annual banquet a week ago Saturday, and they show the video and kids are talking and people are like football players from Colts are crying and everyone's like tearing up. And it's like, it's not you, it's me. But
that's great.
It's impressive.
So what made you come across or get involved with those charities and organizations that you just mentioned, what kind of stuck out to you to put your name and label with those organizations?
Oh, Hoosier Burn Camp's pretty much kind of one of those things that, we do. We respond to fires, right? And the last thing we want to hear is that somebody's been affected by the fire to which we're responding to. We always, the first question when we get a call is anyone hurt, or is the scene clear? And you always pray that it's just stuff.
Yeah,
because stuff's replaceable. So, so that's just one of those where we have connections in fire departments throughout Central Indiana. They're involved in it. They invited us a while back. The owner of the company, Richard, I think struck up, from what I can tell, he's kind of shy about it, struck up a relationship with a particular individual, and that individual was affected one way or another, and he kind of fell off for 3 years on that. And when I started with him, I said, what was important to you? And he said, Hoosier Burn Camp was, but I can't be really involved because of an emotional connection. I was like, all right. So I kind of took the reins on that, but it's been something Richard's been involved in for the company for many years beyond the last 6 or 7 that we've been like truly involved in it. But
cool.
So that's one of those cool ones. It's pretty, I mean, I'd say it's pretty organic to what we do to be able to do something with them.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And just, this might seem like a silly question, but what's just the general impact that you see being made from maybe the people in your organization that are I guess involved in this organization, and the organization itself, the kids and the people that are running the organization? What's just the general impact that you see being made when you guys are chipping in and you're helping out and you're just being involved?
So just being involved and showing up is obviously important to any nonprofit, right? But then as a partner to Hoosier Burn Camp, we get to go to Visitors Day. So you go to Visitors Day, members of the team are always invited. They can take the day off, if they want to. They'll be compensated for it, and you can even take your kids. So we've had a couple team members, I've done it a number of times, take our kids up to Hoosier Burn Camp for Visitors Day. And one year I took my son up. He was 14, and we're standing in line to ride. I think he wanted to ride the mechanical bull, right? And he strikes up a conversation with a cute little girl standing in front of him that's got the Hoosier Burn Camp shirt on. They strike up a conversation, and he's like, she's pretty cool. I was like, yeah, she's pretty cool. She's pretty nice. I said, did you get her number? He's like, I didn't want to. It was kind of I said, that's fine. He goes, I wonder why she's here. I was like, dude, she's got a shirt on. He was like, what? I go, she had a shirt on. She's a burn survivor. No, she's not. I'm like, yeah, she is. She had a shirt on. She's a burn survivor. He's like, I didn't even notice. That's what it's all about, man. They're all here, right? No one's even thinking about it.
Oh yeah. And
then I asked him, I said, do you like the camp? He goes, yeah, this camp's really cool. I said, you want to be a camper here? He's like, nope. Nope. I don't want to do what has to be done to be a camper there. I was
absolutely
like,
not.
Good to look at it, right? So you just go, you see the families. I mean, it's not just the kids that are affected by that, it's the families and everything else. And you get up to Camps on Visitors Day, and there's probably 5,000-6,000 people running around the camp.
Wow.
And it's just cool to watch. It's just really cool to watch, knowing that you've done something in some way to make that possible.
Yeah, no, that's incredible. That sounds like, a really cool organization to be a part of, because I'm sure it impacts those kids and those families for a lot longer than maybe it impacts, us and other people. Just it's a lifelong memory for them, I'm sure. Bart, you sent me something, but before we connected here on this podcast, I spoke about a video to watch about a cool project that you guys did for a local member of your community. Why don't you tell everybody about that project and some of the things that you guys were involved in, how you came across it, and why is that so special to you guys?
So Austin, I think you're referring to Becky's story, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So Becky is a widow. She lost her husband about 7-8 years ago, and late summer 2021, she had a very small water leak in her home, pinprick leak behind a wall. She just, she's in a different world. She lost her husband, married late, no children, living on her own, built the house she's in, and the leak just continues to go and go and go. Finally, she calls the church, Avon United Methodist, which is local here, and someone goes out there and says, hey, we got an issue. So they originally called us for the water loss after they called their insurance agent And the insurance agent adjuster went out and said, look, it's a maintenance issue. It's not really a loss because it's been going on for 60 days, which we kind of called BS on that, but
Yeah.
you know, is what it is. So plumber came out, as a member of the church, retired plumber came out, fixed the water leak. And then a couple days, I'd say a week or two later, I'm walking the dogs around the neighborhood, and my neighbor, Rob, is a minister at the same church. He's like, hey, we realized that earlier insurance wouldn't cover it. We raised a significant amount of money to help Becky out to repair her house. We've engaged with a group called the Nomads, which is a retired group they're all Methodist men and women. They're retired, but they've all had some sort of like construction skill, and they drive all over the country fixing up parsonages and people's homes when the local church raises money to help somebody out. So if you see the video, the two guys that are in it, Mike and Brad, they're actually down in Brownsville, Texas right now, working on a project down there. So they raised some money. He says, hey, what can you do for us? We need to get this place cleaned up. I was like, all right. So rolled out. We did it at our cost, which is like at our cost for everything. 4 rollaways, 2 weeks of demo and mold remediation.
Wow.
We took everything out of the house and then made it so the Nomads could come in with their budget and basically renovate her home to a like new condition. So it's a special moment because when you do what we do, we don't always get to follow up with the homeowner and see the effect that you have. And yeah, that video is pretty special, and Becky's obviously very appreciative, as you can tell if you watch that video. But it's just one of those things that everybody shared the video, and the 7 or 8 of us that were involved in the project, it was really cool to watch it all. And it's just one of those things you get a chance just because you're walking a dog around a block. So
yeah, no, absolutely. I thought that was pretty interesting how, when I was watching it, when I post this video on LinkedIn, maybe I'll drop that link to the video for anybody else to watch, because I think it tells a really great story. And yeah, how you got involved by just walking your dog and somebody rolled down their window and asked for some help.
And I will say this, the nice part is the owner, Richard, was like, as long as you've made an arrangement and you're covering our costs for this project, you're good. Go at it. I'm like, all right. So, I mean, it's not like it's willy-nilly and we just do it all the time. It's got to run through it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think that was definitely a special opportunity for you guys. And watching the video, you can see just, and when the completed project was done, or almost her whole house was redone, that, the joy that brought her, and the peace and of comfort of being able to live comfortably in her home again, meant something special for her.
I will say going forward, they're doing wellness checks on her every 3 weeks. And so they're making sure she's in a better place than she was, about September of last year. So, which is good. Yeah,
no, that's great.
And it took her some courage to even start the process. So we told her that a while back. But.
Oh yeah. I bet I can only imagine. So, it's obviously a special project for you guys to be involved there. And, not everybody, that has a home service business would be willing to do something like that. And so it's cool that you guys stepped up and were able to do something like that and, be involved. So, I know that was kind of really the next part of the podcast here, but are there any other stories that you were hoping to share today or had on the top of your mind, talking about, just a situation where you're able to give back for maybe somebody that was in need in your community?
Well, I mean, I don't know if it's like specific to someone who's in need. I mean, we do like the complimentary, the in-kind donations for NHP when they have someone in need, one of their properties or one of their clients has a break-in, and we'll secure the building. And then they obviously have partners to come back and repair it on the residential side. In the conversations we've had, we have all of our employees are obviously involved in the community. We support local charities. We support their charities with, we call man cans. So it's the Michaelis man can for silent donations, where we put basically bourbon and cigars and maybe car wash stuff in a big orange bucket, because we've found that a number of these silent auctions for these charities focus on the ladies.
Oh yeah.
So we've decided we're gonna do something for the gents and do bourbon, cigars, and if it's if It all depends on what it is, what else goes in there. So it's the Michaelis
Yeah.
we probably do, I don't know, 17 or 18 of those a year. We do 20 plus golf outings a year for our associations, which have a direct impact on local communities, because that's always raising money for a nonprofit of some sort. So we're out and about a lot.
Yeah, very cool.
So
Yeah. No, I love golf, and I love bourbon, and I love cigars. I'd love to be a part of one of those.
you need to roll on up to Indianapolis. I wouldn't do it right now. It's a little chilly, but
No, well, man, we're in Dallas, and we had 80-degree weather about 2 days ago, and this morning we woke up and it's 24 degrees. So that's the beautiful Dallas, Texas weather for you.
Yep.
It'll probably be 80 on Monday again, so it's great.
Exactly.
Well, perfect. Well, Bart, I know you shared a lot about the things that you guys are plugging yourselves into the local community, but let's shift and talk a little bit about the impact that your organization makes on the people that are actually working there. What are some of the things that you guys do to keep everybody engaged and maybe help them be better professionally and personally, and maybe help them grow professionally into the next role in their career? What are some of the things that you guys do for the people within your organization?
So we'll go, I mean, if we go back to the events, everyone has the opportunity across the way to bring up a charity or an event or something they're involved in, whether it's the kids, their kids sports teams, we support those. So it's anyone in the organization that has a family member involved in something is more than open to come to us or the leadership and be like, hey, I got a rugby team I want to support. All right, if you're involved, go.
Yeah.
So we want our employees to be involved in their local communities, from field techs all the way up to general manager and the 7 leaders, right? Which is good, because we give them opportunities to do it. Things are pretty flexible around there. If they have an event they want to attend, they're more than free to do it. And if they have a t-shirt sale for the local softball team, or a sponsorship, we'll do it, as long as a child is either on it or someone or employee or employee's partner is coaching it, which helps on the solicitation side, because we obviously, being a fairly visible company in and around central Indiana, we get a lot of calls. But so if the employees aren't directly involved, then we're not going to support it. It may sound harsh, but it's one of those things.
Yeah.
So it helps the employees know everyone knows they can come to anyone if they're involved in something, and they will get some sort of support if they ask for it. So really just kind of empowers the employees to keep doing what they're doing. And if they need something, rugby team needs balls, and we'll buy some balls or things like that. So that's kind of cool. We've had, when you mentioned that question, I wrote down Patrick. So Patrick's on our team. He started off as a water tech with a company we kind of took over in about 12 years ago. And then he worked his way up to lead water tech. And then about 2 years ago, he calls me, he's like, maybe 3 years ago, hey, I want to be a project manager. I was like, all right, well, go be a project manager. He's like, what? I go, if that's what you want to be, man, go be one.
Yeah.
He's like, well, what if I can't do it here? I said, well, then you can't do it here. He goes, what do you mean? I said, if you want to be a project manager and you want to learn, man, draw out your sword, die on it, but get your direct supervisor involved and be like, hey, this is what I want to do. And I want to take the training and learn how to be a project manager with Michaelis. And if Michaelis says, well, that's not going to happen, then you go be a project manager somewhere else.
Yeah.
He's like, okay, that's kind of harsh. I was like, oh, little bird, you can fly.
Yeah, absolutely.
So he's been a project manager with us, working on, large 5-figure and 6-figure projects with us for, going on 3 years now. So
very cool.
It's one of those things. It's like, hey, if you can't do it here and that's what you want to do, we can do it somewhere. But man, give it a rip.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Everyone's pretty much, when we post a internal position, or we post a position that we're thinking of that maybe above someone that's already on the staff, we are more than willing to have them apply for it. And but we don't stop anyone from trying to do something that they may want to do.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah. It's when you've got people there and they want to continue to stay there, or they've got their growth potential is greater than what you guys can handle, then kind of like, what you said is you've equipped them with the right tools to go off and be better professionally and personally. So, I mean, you guys have at least done your part. You're involving your employees and everything. You guys in the community, you're training them, you're helping them want to be at work every single day, and just helping them be a better person overall. So I think that's what it's all about. So Bart, I know we've shared a lot of information today, but before we close this episode, any last stories that you had on the top of your head that you were hoping to share today, but before we jump off?
No, I mean, you talk about responding, being a second responder, right? So we've got a group of us that are second responders. So after the fire department or plumber or someone leaves and someone's looking at, do they stay in their house or not stay in their house? We're all authorized. We carry water if we go out. We're all authorized to run to certain hotels and put families up if they've given us the authorization to assist with the security of their facility. So we understand the situation that the families are in, the people are in, right. And it's nice to have a company that not only takes that empathy for the client, but also takes that empathy and the involvement to their employees, right? So everyone's authorized and has the ability to do certain things to a certain level.
Very cool.
So it's kind of cool. It's kind of cool place to be. I like it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Well, it sounds like it. It sounds like you guys are doing a whole lot. You're changing people's lives on a greater scale than just the community projects you guys are doing. I mean, you have the opportunity to change people's lives with every phone call that you guys get. You have that ability to help people put the pieces back together and restore their homes and restore their lives, one step at a time. So you guys get to be involved on a bigger scale than maybe some other companies. So Bart, I appreciate you sharing all this information today. I know the listeners are going to be able to hear all the great things that you guys are doing in your organization. So thanks again for joining, and to everyone else, look forward to the next episode of the Localpreneur Show.
Yeah, thanks for the opportunity, Austin.
Thanks again for listening to the Localpreneur Show. For more of our daily content, feel free to check out Josh or Austin's LinkedIn.